so obsessed with something or someone that you will overlook any fundamental flaw with that potential relationship. You know, red flag type. Like codependency, or the lack of trust, or low self-esteem, or the lack of a viewfinder/rangefinder system. Yeah, I think we've all been there. But sometimes you just can't help yourself, and because of that lack of self-restraint, I bought another Leica. That red dot just has such a hold over me. She says jump, I say how high. She says, you don't need a viewfinder to compose images. I say, viewfinder who? I've never heard of her. She says, why use a rangefinder when you can scale focus? And I say, I've been meaning to learn the metric system in the first place. Metric, yeah, oof. Maybe this is an abusive relationship. But it's not a normal Leica. It's not one that most people would guess. Enter the Leica MDa, your favorite budget-friendly Leica that is just as overlooked as putting barbecue sauce on your McDonald's double patty burger. I mean, you have to make it taste good somehow. Now, you don't have to look hard to notice that the MDA's biggest difference, opposed to basically all Leicas, is that she doesn't have a viewfinder or a rangefinder system. Yeah, she's as smooth as a Ken doll. Also, rangefinders and viewfinders are different things, technically. Rangefinder does the focusing part of the job, and the viewfinder is, well, a window into your soul. Most Leicas have both of them together. So I guess the big question is, why the f would I want this camera in the first place? Other than being, you know, mad thirsty for Leica. Well, it's because it's kind of weird. And isn't that reason enough? I mean, look at me. I have this eccentric, colorful scarf around my neck. This screams MDMA. I mean, MDA, not drugs. Of course, Leica is kind of like a drug. But today, I wanted to figure out if this badass bod with no way of seeing compositions is even worth the double take. And more importantly, is it just a giant pain in the ass? I mean, yeah, kind of does seem like it. So let's go to Baker, California to find out all these answers and more. Baker is usually known as the last place you stop for gas before making that arduous stretch for Vegas. Unfortunately, there is no Vegas this time. But to be fair, there is more to this trip than just Baker. So stay tuned, that's another video for you in the future. Now, if you've been with me for the past 2 years, for one, thanks by the way. 2, you might remember my attempt at this location last time. Back then, I thought shooting Polaroid in 105-degree heat was a good idea. It wasn't. So I'm back for revenge. But, of course, Jedis don't take revenge.
HP5 for the win.
First up, some HP5, of course, push 2 stops. I figured for this real first go around with this Leica, it wouldn't hurt putting in some high ISO film into the camera. Also, since I'd be doing nothing but zone focusing, stopping down would be my BFF in this scenario. Sorry, Jason.
Do you think I should jump in the pool? I mean, I guess what's left of the pool. It's pretty gnarly. $16, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the shot right there, my friend.
I think there's another shot here.
Oh, yeah. I'm wanting to be about infinity. Yeah. Blue toilet, baby.
I love this style of hotel. No rangefinder. External viewfinder. Oh, whoa.
So what gear would this blind body be rocking to make it a functional picture-taking machine? It just so happens that I already own a 15mm ultra-wide lens with an external viewfinder that I frequently use on my M6. Naturally, that's a fantastic combo to be paired with this camera. The other great thing about this combo, especially at this location, is that I love wide-angle lenses for abandoned places. So really, I'm just winning hardcore right now.
I wonder if anyone lives back there. Guess there's only one way to find out, right? I like fire like the next person, but I don't need to go burning down. Like, look at this. This is insane.
Even though I was just a few snaps in, I was vibing with this place hardcore.
Going up there would be a very, very bad idea.
I must admit, at first, I thought shooting this camera would be more annoying than anything else. But within the first 30, I completely leaned into this rangefinderless world. This one of the stairs leading up to the second floor is my favorite so far. Mostly because it's so dramatic, and I'm here for it, baby.
Oh, that is a cool sign.
This is why pushing HP5 those 2 stops was totally necessary. I think if I had a lower film stock, there just was no way that I could expose the sign properly. Now, Leica did make 4 different models that are in this same MDa family. The Leica M1, the Leica MD, the Leica MDa, the A obviously standing for awesome, and lastly, the MD2. The M1 actually had a viewfinder and was based on the M2 design. The later 3 models decided to drop the viewfinder completely, but ultimately is based on the Leica M4 variants. Rapid loading system, fast rewind, lovely system. Out of the 3 later MDs, I think the MDMA is actually the best looking out of all of them. I mean, look at the sexy Leica strip on the top plate. Plus, the M3 styled advance lever. Sure, the MD2 has a hot shoe, which would totally come in handy for my flash work. But ultimately, and more honestly, it doesn't quite look as sexy. And you know it's all about the sex appeal.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh yeah, it worked.
2 dudes walking around. This is cool. Do 11 at 125 with about 10 to affinity. It's just so. Oh shit! Damn it! Took a picture on accident.
At this point, I forgot all about not having a rangefinder. Actually, it was quite freeing. Sure, on one hand, all my shots could be an absolute dumpster fire behind the local Chili's. On the other hand, it didn't really matter because I was just having fun shooting. I really dig this image of the chair inside the trailer. The way that the light just cuts between the 2 chairs is pure magic. I'm really glad that I made it back to this Royal Hawaiian motel. I didn't do this place justice the last go around, and I'm glad I could redeem myself. But one thing, why is there a Hawaiian motel in the middle of the desert Anyway, am I missing something here? So you might be asking yourself, why the hell would a company like Leica create a camera that requires people to buy a separate viewfinder and a rangefinder? How Apple of them. I mean, come on, where's the charging brick? Well, as some of you might know already, it was never intended to be a street photographer's wet dream of a camera. It was more made for those lab rats who have impeccable taste. A lot of the research points to these cameras being designed for scientific communities, for microscopic and duplication work, either mounted to a microscope or copy stand or a VisiFlex. Now the VisiFlex is a very interesting one because it's essentially a mirror inside a lens mount that can take M-mount glass, making it a pseudo-type SLR. So you can actually see through the lens. I mean, look how weird this thing is. Kind of reminds me of a Star Wars character. I'm into it. Later that night, I hadn't had enough of this camera, so while Jason was taking a massive Winnie the Pooh in the bathroom, I decided to shoot a few images in our hotel room.
Yeah, these drapes just don't really match.
Now, even though it wasn't designed to be a walk around taking pictures of trash kind of camera, I can actually see a case for it. I mean, if you actually think about it, a lot of times street photographers zone focus anyway. They don't worry about making those two ghost images make out with each other. They set the focus and snap away. So in that case, you just need a viewfinder, which is an easy fix. I mean, come on, look at that. I just found you a cheap Leica. You're welcome. After stopping off at our first location for the day, again, more to come on that, we hit up this little abandoned A-frame structure on the way back to LA. This was a great little spot to finish up my MDMA trip in the desert. So, Leica MDa, thoughts? It's definitely a weird one for sure. But for me, do I see this taking the place of my Leica M6? No way, she's my baby. Like I said, I'm codependent. But it's a great side piece to have alongside my M6. See, when my M6 rocks a 35mm, my MDa can clown around with that 15mm Voigtlander. When I'm in abandoned places like this, I'm frequently swapping between the two lenses. So why not have a dedicated camera for it? Maybe someday I'll get a different viewfinder and maybe try a 28mm or something. Challenge my internal distance meter. But I actually like a lot of these shots, and I think it comes down to a few crucial things. One, being a wide angle lens, focus really wasn't an issue. And two, I was shooting fast speed and at a small aperture. So again, everything would be in focus. Overall, I'm really glad that I picked up this camera. I got it for a good price too, which also helps. So if you're okay zone focusing and finding yourself an external viewfinder, this might not be a bad option. Wait, so essentially, did I find myself a premium point and shoot Leica?